Holy shit. Hey guys, what's going on? It's Scrimsy. It's currently 2:44 p.m. Just woke up after a long night coming back from Manhattan, Kansas. Essentially, I just want to make this video and talk about that, the results of the Heartland. Really wasn't what we were wanting to get done. We really had some high hopes for our teams and players there, but ultimately it was a learning experience and we learned a lot from that. So I'll kind of talk about a little bit about what actually we ended up doing, and then afterwards I have some footage from a game that I'd like you guys to see. So starting off, we had Super Smash Bros. Melee, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and Overwatch competing. Our Super Smash Bros. Melee player, Lemon Juices, Coulson, absolutely phenomenal Melee player. We all knew going into it that we weren't going to have any problems with him. Some more so was there for him just to get practice, essentially. But going into Ultimate, we knew that we were going to have some hiccups potentially. Zeton, one of the best in the Wichita area, and then we had Wisdom, drive down from Missouri. He's arguably best or top 4 in the region. And we kind of had high hopes, and we were hoping that we were able to get the job done. Unfortunately, Zeton placed top 32 and Wisdom placed T16. So really not all that bad considering how many people were there. I think in total there was over 200 entries. And from what I've been told, it's like technically like a C-class event, so it definitely wasn't small. There was people that drove from Minnesota, Nebraska, all over for this event. And I really wish I would have got more footage of the venue. I was just more so focused on the players and teams competing. We had practice Friday night at CLX. And then drove immediately from CLX up to Manhattan. We got there like probably 2 in the morning. We all crammed in these 2 small ass hotel rooms, like 13 of us, and we just fell asleep, got 4 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep, turned around the very next day and competed for 14 hours. We got there at like 8:30 a.m. and we didn't leave the venue till like 10:30, 11. And then we also didn't get home till like 3 or 4 in the morning. So it's just been crazy. So yeah, I talked to you about Super Smash Brothers. Now a little bit about Overwatch. Let me take a deep breath real quick. I just don't even so I can't really talk a lot of smack on our neighbors and our brothers and sisters in Kansas, right? And I'm not gonna divulge at all into that. But our Overwatch guys, we were there again. They were sitting down playing all day long. Smash, you can really kind of just more mingle and go from setup to setup and play and really talk to one another and just have fun more so. Our Overwatch guys didn't really get the chance to do that. There was only 3 other teams in our bracket. We had K-State, KU, and I believe Iowa State. When we got there in the morning, we knew that there was going to probably be a lot of technical problems with the event, such as you get at a grassroots event. Like, they're not a DreamHack or a PAX East, they're really just more so throwing things together to try and let everyone have an experience to have fun, and we definitely recognize that and appreciate that. But anyway, we got there super early to set up. We got all set up, and there was a lot of times where when we literally were seating, just because of technical issues and internet issues, we were seating from like 10 till probably like 4 p.m. And we only played like 4 games in that time period just based off technical issues. Another reason that I really wanted to make this video is because I wanted to show the best part of how we played. Our Overwatch guys grew leaps and bounds, and we just had a lot of technical and internet issues. So going into it, our first game of the day was KU. We gave them a run for their money. Definitely wasn't an easy game for them. I don't think that they were comfortable with the game that they played against us. We ended up obviously losing to them. A couple hours later, we had Iowa State. And I also just want to mention that we lost our momentum completely playing against KU because of an internet issue that they kept experiencing. we would start to build momentum, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere there would be a disconnect or something or other around that. Apparently there was a lot of internet issues there. Our table didn't have any, so our team being the underdog, we would really start to roll them and get momentum, and then there would be an internet issue or a technical issue, and this was all day, and then we would lose that momentum immediately and then get rolled. So we lost to KU after an internet issue. A couple hours later, we played Iowa State. Same thing. We had, I think it was 1-2 against Iowa State, something like that. And build momentum, start winning, and then a power issue. So, you know, we wait, lose all of our momentum, get right back into it, and then they beat us 1-2. And then our last seeding match of the day, which, mind you, we were seeding from 10 in the morning till about 5 or 6 in the evening, and we only played 3 games. We played K-State, and that's the footage that you're gonna see at the end of this video, is our game against K-State. Every single team there, mind you, were colleges with programs where they have scholarships for individuals, or a practice facility, or some type of organization that the college can support players. Mind you, our roster was a roster that's been here since the beginning, and they were kiddos that were just local to Wichita, and we gave every single team there a run for their money. We are a different team coming out of this event. We learned a lot. I think really what it ultimately came down to was us just sitting down, looking each other in the eye and saying, look, this is what we're doing wrong, this is what you're doing wrong, let's fix that, how do we fix that, and applying that into our next game. The team that you're getting ready to watch is Wichita Wolves, obviously, against K-State, and that's by far the best I've ever seen our Wichita team ever play. So I really hope you enjoy the footage as well. In this video, you're going to see that there was a disconnect, and it just so happened that after 12 hours of playing, that our Overwatch guys were fed up with losing momentum, and they were just more so angry, and it turned out that we were the best we've played ever. So that's the footage you're going to see. I really appreciate you guys supporting us on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, the whole nine. Thank you guys for all the support. Thank you again, CLX, for the wonderful, beautiful computers that we were sent with. We stood out apart from everybody there at that event. And thank you guys for being a part of the family and the Wolfpack. I really hope you enjoy this next couple minutes of footage. And yeah, we'll see you around. See you.
We are back. That is right. Round 3 of the Heartland Showdown, sponsored by HyperX. And once again, we will be watching Kansas State. But this time, they'll be going up against the Wichita Wolves. A high school team, actually, joining the Heartland Showdown. Fun facts that I just got from Michael Darnell.
Yeah, we learned that 30 seconds ago, before the stream started.
Ready for battle.
Literally, fun fact, because, yeah, just learned it. Once more, we're going to be seeing the Symmetra coming out on the control map, as patented by Kansas State. They've done it every single time. Cloud, actually, from Wichita Wolves, doing the exact same thing. So, we'll see who's able to get to the point first. KSU is running the double shields, and Wichita is going to be running the Diva, actually. Other than that, well, actually, KSU is running the Baptiste as well, so they have the invulnerability. We'll see whose pathing is a little bit better. It looks like they both get to it at about the same time. Yeah, and then they wall off the 2 tanks KSU did. Now they're going to be able to get Reinhardt out of there. The main wall comes out from Wichita side as well. They're able to get any kills out of that, actually. So KSU has total control of the map. The Symmetra going down from KU's side, so now KU is going to have to immediately retreat, and that's a pretty easy victory for KSU.
That fight definitely comes down to the Reinhardt gaining to the point a little bit before his team, and that results in him getting cut off by Beer Guts' Maywall, and after that, it's just easy pickings with no Reinhardt.
They're definitely going to need to be very careful which routes they take, and if the Reinhardt goes in without his team, there's no way he's going to be able to sustain the fight. This time, it looks like they're going to go far right. We'll have to see the route that they take to get everyone in at the same time. It looks like they try to speed in, but again, Ryan is just way too far forward. Their Symmetra is also not able to do anything. Professor Oak just blasts right through them, and I think that It's probably time for them to get off the Symmetra. What would you say, Hachiko?
I definitely think the Symmetra has been overstayed. They're not even close to the ult on it yet, and they don't really need the teleport from her anymore to try and get to the point. They are making some swaps here as they jump onto the Pharah, but they're still sticking to the Sim.
Yeah, that's really odd considering that they did switch to the Mercy, but their damage is going to be very much allocated towards the Pharah, and she needs to be able to get a lot of damage in here. She's basically like an airborne Junkrat. The Baptiste ultimate comes out from Kansas State University, not able to actually do a lot of damage because Wichita's actually holding a 3-3 right now. 3 people on the left, 3 people on the right. Now just the entire team's transitioning to the left. Wow, Wichita really get shattered, getting 3 people down, but the lamp saving KSU there, as well as the Symmetrical actually came out from both sides, blocking up a lot of damage. Cloud actually did get Professor Oak in that fight. A big Maywall coming. Kansas State is probably going to be able to get a good nailed off of that. Actually doesn't really catch many people. Oh, a good pull onto the Pharah. Not gonna die though. It looks like Cloud's actually getting a couple kills in the back line, so I say this fight was over, but it looks like Wichita is actually getting a lot of damage on this point.
But if they don't win this, that's the end of this round. KSC is already at 96%.
They need to be able to touch the point. It's 98%. Diva is barely able to touch the point. The supercharger comes down from Kansas State's side. And Mercy just dies instantly. That's gonna be it, surely. There's no way Wichita's gonna be able to touch the point. It's a 100-0 K-State over Wichita.
The swap to the Pharah was really good, but I think they sticking to the Symmetra really didn't do anything for them, especially even with the ult. And that last fight, they extended it on so long. They should have just, you know, tried to end it as quickly as possible so they could get a 4th fight in and use those ultimates that they had built.
Yeah, absolutely. And much better look for Kansas State. They haven't had a lot of success, unfortunately, in the past few sets. I mean, we didn't even see them in their first set versus ISU. You know, they got the first point, and they didn't win every single map, but they looked good on control. Not as great versus KU. We saw a pretty unfortunate move to start off the beginning of Lejong Tower in that match. This map is looking pretty patented for them, honestly. They didn't really have too many blunders, a few deaths here and there, but they never lost a point, so.
Thanks to the Symmetra, Kansas State gets early footing on the point, and they block off the Diva who doesn't have boosters, so she's gonna die right away.
Oh, so McCree actually spotted Widowmaker just sitting there on the right side. He got very close to the point. That's not what you should be doing as Widowmaker. Professor Oak is just popping off, just like he has been all day, honestly. And that's going to be the point going straight to K-State instantly.
Kansas State has been really good about securing any advantages they get at the start of these fights, especially from players on the Wichita Wolves, overextending, getting to the point before their teammates. Kansas State has really been taking advantage of those small little... Oh, and it seems like we've lost connection again. Not entirely sure if this is happening to other players, but at least on this stream, we've lost connection. Well, the stream is still going.
The game's still going for me. I think it might have been whatever your switch was.
We're reconnecting.
The stream's still going. I'll commentate it. But there's nothing on the screen. You don't see what's happening. But K-State actually is still playing Wichita Wolves. It's currently 45-0. K-State on the second point. Wichita Wolves is actually looking to capture this point. We're getting Hachiko back in the match. He's connecting, so you're going to be able to see everything on stream. Wichita Wolves actually, in the meanwhile, did capture the point. And what we thought was going to be a disaster, they're calling for pause because it looks like a few of K-State's members actually did drop. But the fight was still going on at that point, so it might have been that just there was a big lag spike as soon as we saw a connection cut. But we'll get it figured out here in just a second.
Traveling to Nepal. Traveling to Nepal.
Alright, so now we're back. This is a pretty spooky beam of light that I've got here on my screen.
Oh my goodness. It's like you're looking, it's like you're in that one Led Zeppelin song where you're looking at the stairway.
my.
Don't go into the light.
Yeah, but the light will lead me to Overwatch, and that's what we're waiting on as the players reconnect here. Still got a pause shortly after the stream was disconnected, so it's only 51% to Wichita State's 0%.
Yeah, luckily, unlike the other unfortunate disconnect that we had earlier with Kansas State versus KU, this time we did not lose the map. It's 51-7, as Hachiko said, and we're able to preserve most of the players on the Wichita Wolves side. Their entire team is still in the match. Only a couple of Kansas State's players are still here. So we're going to try to get everyone in. And it does look like, it does say that everyone joined the game. And I see everyone on the Kansas State lineup in the game. They just need to unpause it. So when we get in the game, when we unpause it, everyone should be in the game. They just need to make sure that they're all ready. And then they're going to start it. It's going to be 51-7. Wichita Wolves have the point. And well, this will just be kind of a reset. Kansas State may or may not have lost the point because of the disconnect, but they're just gonna play it through because we already have the game going, and there'd be no point to really reset it at this point, given that we already got to about 51 percentage points. Oh, we'll have to see. They're cracking jokes in general, so it looks like they're not phased. And I'm sure we're going to get unpaused just here in a second. I do see that one person, he's probably restarting his game really quick, but 5 is 6 of KSU is here.
Naturally, he finds the time to drop a big old, a paragraph-long dad joke into the chat before he disconnects. A classic Vispy move. He's really perfected his craft.
I'm not sure if those appear on stream, but I'm not sure that our sponsors will be very happy with Kansas State's words there. But anyway.
But what people will be happy with is the HyperX headsets and gear that were given away at the raffle later today.
Yes, they will, and we are giving away a Cloud S headset, giving away a very big mouse pad. There's actually a Winston plushie in there, and there's, I believe, a Heroes of the Storm character of some sort. I'm not entirely sure.
We definitely have a lot of stuff to give away.
We got some great loot, and you know, this stream is sponsored by HyperX. We've got the HyperX products out here today. They gave us quite a big contribution to our event. Big shout out to them. Great equipment, great company.
We're also sponsored by Mountain Dew. Specifically, their Game Fuel brand has provided us with a lot of drinks to keep all of our contestants well-fueled and ready to take on today's challenges, whether it be Ethernet or competitors.
Yeah, Mountain Dew, the essential ingredient in order to really get over your nerves. The patented thing that they have on each bottle is alertness and accuracy. So, you know, you need to be alert whenever things are happening in game that don't seem great. You got to keep your accuracy up when things are slowing down. It's I believe 6 o'clock here. Yeah, 6:09 as we're talking right now. And, you know, we've been playing ever since about 10 o'clock. We've been trying to play thereof. Been mostly playing since about 1 o'clock or so. So, you know, most people have been going for about 5 hours on and off, give or take, via breaks and all sorts of stuff. But we're into match 3, you know. We're here. We're doing it live, and we're kicking into high gear. So once Vispy gets in, I believe he actually is in already, and he's making even more jokes into the general chat, which we love to see those.
He just can't stop himself once he started.
He just can't stop himself. But luckily,
like,
it looks like
it's similar to Professor Oak on the McCree. Once he starts fragging, he can't be stopped.
Yeah, that's true. You know, he fragged very hard when he got that three-man frag. Even better was, you know, the game that got shredded from history. He got the 4-man anti-nade.
I think my favorite play from today so far, though, is that Lucia rollout on Lijon that resulted in the double kill boop on the Kansas State.
It's going to be really hard to top that one, and that's probably going to be one of the biggest highlight reels to come from this tournament. And we are being motioned over by Smith, so we are going to cut the live stream short really quickly just to make sure. Actually, it looks like he just wanted to make sure that we were going properly. So we're going to be resuming here shortly. It looks like KSU does have everyone in the game, so we'll see if they change it up a bit. But they actually did start off. They did start off with winning that point. And of course, they just kind of lost it out of nowhere, so we'll have to see. All right. They will be going with the Symmetra, interestingly enough. I do not think we'll be seeing that Roadhog anytime soon. Press F in chat. I don't remember the last time I saw a Roadhog in any game, honestly, and it's a tragedy.
Probably.
But hey, you know, with hero bans coming in, as like, you know, the seasonal bans for Overwatch League and even ranked now, you might see Roadhog every now and then if all the main tanks get banned, so you never know.
Oh,
all right.
Professor Oak kind of missed up the sim teleport.
Yeah, he decided to switch to McCree as well, so he is actually going to be on point a little late. That is important to note. Wichita gets a wall out. They aren't able to kill anybody, but Jason Eater goes a little low. He's getting healed up pretty well, but they do get an anti-nade on him, so B-Day Ninja is actually going to find the Jules onto 3 people from Kansas State, and they're going to be able to get a clean sweep throughout the point.
It's important to note that because of the botched teleport, Kansas State didn't beat the Wichita Wolves onto the point.
Yeah.
And
that was
because Kansas State wasn't able to get a good wall off to start the fight, Wichita Wolves basically just ran at Kansas State and managed to knock them down and win really easily.
Yeah, now Birthday Ninja has his shadow online. Jason Eater not even close to his own, so we're gonna have to. What comes of it? This being getting purple. They do get a 3-hit stun with the McCree, the mini shadow coming out. He clouds over the kill Professor Oak. The Nano comes out on the Birthday Ninja, I believe, and they're pulling through Kansas State honestly right now. Oh, the charge on the men. Wow. Man, Wichita playing much better, it seems. After getting that slight break with the disconnect, it seems like they're much more composed after everything, and they're playing with their ultimate lineups a lot better. Kansas State, I don't think that they've had a single ultimate come online this game yet, but both their support ultimates are about to come on, and that Jason Eater does have his shatter as well. Wichita, they're really going to have to play around the McCree here. We'll have to see if
May
they
gets
get
caught
a
out.
good try. Oh man, he gets a double kill with that. I was going to say, they were just right out in the open, just ready to be flamed up. And he got a very big team fight win.
Yeah, Kansas State had some issues staying together when they decided to make that push to the right, and so the May got caught out all alone. And with the May dead, there was nobody to drop a wall in front of the McCree when he ulted, so he gets a nice, easy double kill after the pick off on the May.
Now the Lucio ult is coming in from Wichita. Kansas State actually going to have 5 ults for this one. They start off with the Nano, and now they go into the May ult and the Lucio ult as well. They're using everything, but Jason Eater actually dies at the beginning of this fight. Stay with this beat now. Beer gun as well. This is a clean wipe for Wichita. Kansas State did not win a single fight on Shrine, and that is crazy to think they had 5 ultimates in this last fight, and they only used 2 of them. The shatter comes out, Jason Eater's all the way back there, and they use the Zarya ultimate. I didn't even realize they had Zarya for most of this game because Ben was absolutely invisible. Oh, and the shatter coming out from the backside from Birthday Ninja, that's going to clean up the point. It's all tied up now, Kansas State 1-1. So it's going to go to, I believe, I'm not sure what the third map is. I think Sanctum.
Yep.
And they're going to be restarting for Sanctum if it doesn't go to that, but it looks like it is, so good thing. So Kansas State, they look a little flustered at the end, kind of just whipping ultimates and not really playing as well as they have been in this.
Yeah, even the fights they lost, they didn't really get any ult charge, and so because of that, it took them forever to finally get their ults online, and by the time they did, the Wichita Wolves were able to play aggressively and make sure that Kansas State never got those ult spots that they wanted to.
Yeah, absolutely. Kansas State are going to be running the same comp. We're not going to be seeing Orisa or anything different coming for Sanctum, which we usually do, I feel like. On this map especially, it's usually end up changing. The May wall, I keep saying May wall comes out.
Oops here.
J-Ball gets a big move, and Professor gets a flash mini kill on Nevada. Actually, it wasn't a flash thing, it was just a re-out. Professor Oak only have 2 kills there. He does get subbed. I don't think that's what it's
Sleep was huge, followed up by the Ryan charge.
Sleep was very
Making
huge,
sure
yeah.
Professor Oak couldn't do anything to turn that fight around.
Yeah, now with the point, Fathom is going to be looking for Lucio moves here. I want to see if he's able to find anything because KSU is moving in very slowly here. They actually people out, but now Wichita is actually getting walled out themselves, and it looks like Birthday Ninja might be caught out, but he's going to get sped outwards. And now they're going to look for more moves. Jasonator gets moved off the edge. You just knew that was coming. Professor Oak does get a counter kill.
Huge
onto
purple.
Ninja 5 for 5. Yeah, Professor Oak gets a kill out of that, but now it's 4 for 4. It's an even fight still between the Wichita Wolves and the Kansas State Wildcats. Professor
Maze
Oak,
caught out.
yeah, they got caught out, and it looks like Wichita Wolves, their health bars are so damn low, Hachiko, and the bomb comes out for Diva, does absolutely nothing. Kansas State might be coming back to this point. The boom
They have the
does
Diva
not
ult.
kill anyone for K-State. The Diva ult comes out for K-State.
Oh, but a double from Cloud. The return from Crunk.
One of his own, and Bispy gets a kill as well. Jasonator with the nano boost and the May ult that came out from Wichita is going to try to freeze Jasonator, but it doesn't catch him at all. And the May from Kansas State actually went into cryo freeze, so he didn't get hit either.
He gets booped
Now,
off.
The May ult from Kansas State.
Who's
comes
left
out
on the
and freezes
point?
Fathom, but no one's on the point, Hachiko. No one's able to stall out this point. In
There's
between
no
them,
survivors.
it's all happening. Wichita has the point the entire time, Hachiko. They're at 75%. They didn't lose it the entire damn time. And now they have to win the next fight because that will be game over if they don't. They have the shatter, they have the sound barrier.
Oh, but they've got the
How
cutoff
are
on
they
the
gonna
Ryan.
be
He's
able
all
to get
alone.
to the point? Yes, they did. They found Ryan. They caught him out. That's going to be really big for them. Now they're moving into the support line. They did get a good wall out, and they moved Diva up, but Diva has those boosters, and Diva from Wichita Wolves is going straight down. Oh, Fathom actually got a boop kill onto Bispy, but Jasonator and everyone else from Kansas State is cleaning it up, and they're going to take that point
Right.
back.
Kansas State finally stabilizes for the first time since the last round. Finally getting some percentage up on the board. Will they be able to hold it for very long, though, is the question.
A good wall that comes out that stops the Ryan charge, and now we have to look at Professor Oak's positioning here. He goes for the McCreel, did not get anything. The shatter comes out on both sides. Aren't even really getting
Oh, it's huge!
once again, Cloud is carrying these team fights, and he has been
He's
a clutch player.
feeling
on
it,
this
and he
map. He's
knows
gonna
it.
net Wichita their first win today, at least against Kansas City. I am not entirely sure on their record for the standings, but they clutch out the win against Kansas State. Very, very big plays coming out from both, I would say, Fathom and Cloud, but it was some really flashy McCree plays we saw there at the end.
Here we see the huge purples. Oh, okay, never mind. Guess we don't see the
They don't
huge
want-
purples coming out into play.
Jason Ayer did not want us to see that play in the game, Hachiko. And now Wichita Wolves moves up 1-0, and this we'll have to see how K-State responds with the next match. Unless we're doing a single map format, I'm not sure if we.
I believe we're not moving to single maps until,
until
well,
the
actually,
elimination rounds.
I don't think we're moving to single maps at all. It should just be best of 3, but it'll be single elimination come the bracket round.
I believe you're right. Okay. So it looks like they have Havana selected here. This was the map counter pick that we saw Kansas State come out with against KU.
And they had moderate success on their first round of Havana against KU.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
even though they ended up losing the map, they still had a decent first point hold, and I think that Kansas State feels confident in their ability to continue playing on this map. Especially
Yeah.
with the long sight lines that they can allow Professor Oak to swap to Widow or McCree. He loves that flanking McCree, and Havana is probably the best map that we've seen for him today.
Oh yeah. And I think that K-State, you know, they aren't playing bad by any means. It really seems like they were just getting outplayed in a lot of those team fights. They were very neck and neck in a lot of those.
They definitely were losing tempo with the first fight of each round, and then they had a very tough time regaining that. And it just goes to show how snowbally King of the Hill can be sometimes. Unless you have that jaw-dropping play that ends the team fight and all of a sudden you have the point, it's really tough sometimes to climb back from that initial loss on the point.
And that's so true, because we saw in Temple, Kansas State secured that pretty easily once they got the Symmetra and secured everything on point, and I believe it was a 100-0 if I'm not mistaken. They might have captured the point once, but it was very minimal progress, if any. Alright, so it looks like ours are being called in chat, so we should be getting into the game very shortly. And I think this is really the time that Professor Oak needs to really show up, because while he's been a great player throughout today, he's getting a little outclassed in some of these team fights. We saw Cloud really pop off there at the end on that last map, and we even saw, you know, some of the other McCree players we've seen for these other teams have been doing a lot of work, so I want to see what Professor Oak can do. This team gives him a little bit more resources this time.
Professor Oak, we'll be waiting on the edge of our seats to see if he's playing that Widowmaker again, or if he's playing the McCree.
I don't think it's gonna be coming out again. I think you definitely want to stick to the McCree. He's great at all hit scan heroes, obviously, but the McCree is definitely a great meta pick right now. Great versatile pick.
Meta, unless you're in Overwatch League right now, where it's banned for the next week.
Yeah, it looks like so the Wichita Wolves are on attack right now. They are hovering over this Widowmaker, but I highly doubt that he gets picked.
Definitely.
Just considering the fact that they're so close, and the way that K-State's going to be holding this, they're going to be very close to that point. They actually are hovering over Hanzo and Widowmaker, so they're not swapping off of it right now.
I don't think they expect the close hold from Kansas State if they do decide to stick to these picks. Because if Kansas State holds up like this, you don't want to run Widowmaker Hanzo into them, realistically.
Yeah, surely they Sonic Arrow, they see, oh god, it's this composition again, then they just swap right off of it. But we'll have to see what they do, because it looks like they're hovering right now. Okay.
Yep, and they're swift, swapping immediately.
Right back. The Widowmaker actually is still here, and he's looking a pick of some sort. Not able to really find anything.
If he can get onto the high ground of the gas station, he might be able to do something about it. But
yeah,
as it is, with the May walls.
Widowmaker actually snipes it away. Ben's able to get a big kill onto Birthday Ninja. That should be able to clean up the rest of the fight. The sidelines are completely open for Professor Oak to get kills now, and he gets a great headshot onto Fathom there. This Widowmaker, I think, realistically, you do have to swap up this pretty fast, unless you think that you're going to be able to get picks here, because they have the limp on the side of Kansas State. They're not really going to be in threat of being one shot for the most part. The Reinhardt going in, ooh, gets a shatter onto two members of Kansas State. Hey, I guess I counted my chickens before they hatched, Oshigo, because they just went straight through Kansas State with that shatter. I didn't think he built an ultimate that fast.
I'm surprised Jason Ayer decided to hold on to the shatter there. He had a few members left in the back line, but he probably realized that his team was going to lose that fight and decided to save it for the next push.
Yeah. And they will keep on the Widowmaker. Honestly, Cloud seems like a pretty impressive player, so I don't expect him to really switch off of this pick unless he thinks it's a bad point or if he's simply getting killed too much. I'll have to see what Kansas State's answer to is because so far there's really been no answer. It looks like Wichita start off with the Diva Bomb.
Oh, and she ate.
Do the May. Oh yeah, it gets eaten by Ben. That's a really huge play. Cloud does get a kill on Professor Oak, but I think the deed is already done because two members of Wichita Wolves are down, and that is their tank line. And it looks like the Diva is getting shot out as well. They find the Widowmaker. Ben's going for him. I don't think he's going to be able to kill him because he already got the heals.
He does have good harass, gain him off of the high ground, making sure that he doesn't get any picks outside the team fight on his team.
Yeah, Bachiko, here comes the ultimates because Kansas State has 5 minutes. Here comes the bomb and the May ult. Is it going to be able to get any kills? Yes, it does on the lead. But Cloud got the first pick on Professor Oak. That's really big for them. And he's on the high ground just free sniping people right now. Birthday Ninja actually kills Beer Gun, so it looks like it's even right now. The Kansas State comes up to Lucio ult, and Jason is able to kill Birthday Ninja because of it. And now Cloud is getting cheesed by the Lucio from Kansas State, but I guess he's going to be able to just walk out. And Wichita Wolves, you know, they're still fighting this. They have a couple ultimates coming online here. They have their own shatter now, finally. They're going to also have the sights in a few seconds for Cloud if he is able to go on the point.
An early beat to start the fight.
With their beat, they get a purple onto 4 people, and the shatter comes out. It actually only hits Misty, and he has the lamp up, so crucially he's going to stay
Might
alive.
see a shatter here coming from Jason Nader.
Yeah, we might see shatter. So far, not seeing much. J-Bomb and Penn getting really big picks. On
2 picks, that should be the fight.
That should be the fight, exactly. The Diva got D-backed as well. you know, Wichita, they're getting these off picks. They're getting these like start of fight picks or mid picks, but they're not able to convert it into any of this. That's their biggest weakness right now, is they're not being able to really close out any of these fights if they get some picks. And Professor Oak got another pick onto the May again. This is a disaster for Wichita. They got 38 seconds left. And it looks like Kansas State is not backing down. If they kill them here, they might be able to just stop them from touching the payload again. Oh, he went for a wall onto the right, but he gets headshot by Cloud. And now Wichita are going to hit the go button.
Oh, and there he goes again.
Actually, it's a 3-man shatter. That's really big. And the mail comes out as well. It's actually Wichita's mailed, and it's looking pretty good because Cloud's able to free fire as people are getting frozen. Ben is able to get his mech back, so he might be able to run away. No, he's not. He gets killed, and Wichita just barely are going to get this point. That's incredible. I thought that surely K-State were going to be able to defend that after they had so many consecutive team fight wins, but they just barely edged that out.
It was definitely Kansas State's fight to lose until Cloud started popping off and getting those kills, and then there's nothing you can do. It's all over when you've lost so many people, and they still have the Widowmaker up uncontested.
You just gotta love finding talented players like Cloud. As I say that, Ben gets a really good pick with his Diva Bomb. That was very well coordinated by Kansas State. They rushed down the Reinhardt shield. But as I was saying before, it's really interesting to see, you know, these great players, especially when they're so young. This is the high school team, the Wichita Wolves, and Cloud is looking like he's a very, very great mechanical player. I'm not sure what his rank is,
back
but
to the McCree.
I'm sure he's a pretty high-ranked player if he's playing this well in the hit scan characters that are usually, you know, pretty harder to play in this kind of game. He does switch to McCree.
Might see Pat go for an off-angle Diva Bomb here. They do have the May wall still up, so there he goes.
It looks like, yeah, the May from Kansas State is going to start.
And it does some damage to Jasonator.
Jasonator. Oh, the shatter coming out for Wichita. It gets a lot of people, and they get 3 kills because of it. They nanoed the Reinhardt as well, so he does a bunch of damage. Oh, Ben got slammed into the wall by the Reinhardt charge, and Jasonator is going to be put into the cryo chamber, being frozen. And Ben is going to get staggered very badly. He actually was going to go on the payload, so he just gets darted, just like Harambe.
Rest in peace. We don't see the May from the Wichita Wolves coming up for an aggressive hold like we did earlier when Kansas State was playing against KU. Kansas State gets an uncontested.
Yeah, Kansas State barely gets to the point. Oh no, Beergut got isolated. He might die here. That's not good. And I think some of Kansas State got frozen. J-Bomb was able to help them with the Lucio ultimate, but the shatter comes out. It was actually from Jason. He only got 1. And they weren't able to really do much in that fight. It's just really awkward entrance to go into. May got isolated. Jason had to do what he could. He went for the shatter. No one was really able to follow up with it. He didn't get a great chance to go for good ultimate. So now Kansas State, they have to hold on this 3rd point now, Hachiko.
Yeah. Cloud was uncontested on the back line, and so he managed to get 2 kills on his own, and then by that time, the rest of Kansas State was so busy trying to deal with the front line of the Wichita Wolves that he just had free reign to go and contribute damage, and they breezed through that team fight.
Free up canceled early by Hachiko there.
Oh!
Cloud gets a big ultimate because of the fact that he held it the entire time and he got the shield. He gets the 3rd on the Professor Oak, trying to go for that Reinhardt. He was denied. Bispy just hiding in a corner, trying to stay alive as the rest of the team regroups.
Oh, and he finds him.
Oh,
Sniffs
no,
him out.
Found him. He
Smells blood in the water.
This is really bad. They only have J-Bomb for heals, and there's no way they're going to be able to sustain a fight if they choose it right now. But luckily, only 1 person's on the payload. Wichita Wolves actually only have 43 seconds, so this might be the last fight of this round. The big purple coming in, but it's not going to result in anything because Wichita Wolves actually back off and just get the rest of the team on the payload. Kansas State
oh,
has
the
no
sleep
ultimates.
on Jasonator.
Going low. That was so close. May ultimate actually almost stopped by Crimson. He's able to get the kill because of it. The May ultimate now finally coming out for Kansas State, but he got eaten. He got eaten by Captain Pat.
Here comes the Diva ult in the back lines and might get some kills.
Yeah, the Diva ultimate got a kill too. Oh, the move. You're not going to get rung out. Beergut, I don't think, but he's going to get stuffed out by Birthday Ninja's Fire Strike. And man, he's got to stay alive on here. I don't think he's going to do the bomb, but man, you know, there's no way he's going to be able to survive there against the Nano McCree. Is J-Bomb going to be able to touch the point? No, he's not. I don't think they're going to be able to get the overtime on there. And yeah, Professor Oak just slammed right into the spawn. They actually did get one onto the point,
But Kansas State's just playing the stall.
There's no way, you know, they got a Diva Bomb on there, but it's not going to get any kills. J-Bomb is the only one left, and he just got out of spawn. Wichita Wolves are going to finish that map 3-0.
After showing a strong defense earlier today against Kansas University, Kansas State looking a little bit more lackluster on the defense against the Wichita Wolves. They did manage to force Wichita Wolves to 0 seconds on that final push, but 0 seconds isn't really as significant on a straight payload map like this one.
You know what's really interesting is I think it cannot be understated the value of being able to roll in aggressively and continue your streak, because again, this is another map where K-State could have full held someone and Wichita just literally got the entire map because they were just continually going.
And it just shows that both the Wichita Wolves and Kansas State are very momentum-based teams. When we had that pause and Wichita Wolves come back and they breeze through the first round, they win the second round on the ball. And here they go. They get stuck. Kansas State's starting to build up momentum, but one team fight and Kansas State goes almost the rest of the map without winning another team fight. Wichita Wolves.
It's definitely K-State, up to K-State now to really redeem themselves, because even though they've had a lot of really good fights, their biggest problem has been closing it out on these payload maps and really being able to finish on the points where they get a good team fight and they're not able to close out the point. That's what really matters the most in these games. It's been the X factor for sure.
Kansas State looking like they're running the same lineup as usual, but this time they've got Professor Oak on the Widow. Oh, he swaps to McCree. He just wanted to tease us a little
He
bit.
decides against it. Cloud is actually playing the Widowmaker himself, so doing the same thing that Oak did. Now Wichita actually not holding close. Oh, I see Professor Oak is actually going back to spawn. He's going to challenge Cloud on this Widowmaker. He says, hey, I think that I'm pretty good.
Oh, and he catches him off guard.
On stream, he called him out and said,
Oh, and he gets another.
Another kill on the Zero. This is what we needed from Professor Oak. He's popping up right now. He's going to get another. Yes, he is.
He can't be stopped.
Oh,
Wichita Wolves thought they were safe from the Widow. Seeing the McCree on the field.
With the confidence saying, I'm the superior hit scan player in this game, he gets back on the Widowmaker and he shows what he's made of. But this is just what I said. Kansas State, they need to show that they can really close these points out. So Professor Oak is on the high ground. The rest of the team just kind of looking on the right side. Cloud actually gets a pick on the Visby, and Professor Oak knows where he is. He spotted him. Is he able to get a kill? Yes, he gets a kill on the link. That's a counter kill. So it's 5v5 right now on the map. Is he going to be able to get anyone else? He doesn't see the sidelines for Widowmaker. The rest of the team is just sitting on the payload, but they really need to be focusing. The ultimates are coming up really close. Jason here's also going to have it shatter soon. The ultimate from Widowmaker came out from Wichita's side, so they know where.
Needs one more fire strike and I'll have it.
Yep, they're going for it.
Does he go for the shatter here?
Here comes the Wichita main ult. It's not going to be able to get anyone frozen yet, but Jason here is going to go down. Oak was able to find May off of that, and he gets the wall, so he knows where Widowmaker is. J-Bomb holding onto his ult.
Oh!
Oak got caught by the Cloud, and a big anti-nade from Wichita spells doom. They were 4 meters away. They almost had that. It looked like they were just about to get it. K-State had all the ultimates on line 2. It was so close from them, but just barely not able to do it.
Cloud said, you may have killed me, Professor Oak, but I'm going to come back and kill your team until Professor Oak returns the favor.
And this ain't mercy meta, so he ain't coming back for the next 10 seconds, which means Kansas State is going straight forward. Oh,
The early beat drop.
Yeah, an early beat actually, and an early bomb, which actually resulted in a kill against J-Bomb. Are they able to convert anything else? The Diva's going for Widowmaker in the back, and the ultimate comes out, the Nano and the Reinhardt ultimate from Wichita. They're just kind of unloading all their ultimates. Whoa, Kansas State aggressively uses their Diva ultimate, doesn't get anything in return. They also committed the Nano. They committed every single ultimate they had, except for the Shatter. That's disaster.
It really comes down now to if Jason can get a big shatter before Wichita Wolves build up that May ult, which is an insanely quickly generating ult. So he's really going to have to hustle and try and put pressure on that enemy Ryan shield to make sure that he can get a clean shatter off.
Yeah, absolutely. The counter shatter is not there. They don't even have counter any ultimate, so they really just need a big shatter against 2. But the anti-nade is a perfect response, and it kills J-Bomb. But they're able to get 2 kills. Jasonator barely surviving. This looks like it could be the fight to win them the first point. Is this the fight that they need? They're so close to winning that the Nano comes out onto the main. Jasonator gets outside of the main's ultimate and barely survives. Professor Oak able to kill Lucio there, and I think they're finally going to be able to get the first point here on Havana Hachiko.
Doing it. They lined up the ultimates. They used them when they needed to, and Professor Oak came in with the cleanup. Very smooth play from Kansas State. But now it's going to be a test to see if they can push through the second point and force Cloud off of that Widowmaker.
And, you know, I gotta say, it's been back and back between Professor Oak and Cloud. They are taking hits against each other. I have not seen one dominate the other entirely during this match. They've been just right at it. Cloud currently has walls, so he's able to get Fear Gut because of it. He knows where the enemy Widowmaker is, so he's going for that peek as well. We actually see the Shatter coming out aggressively from Wichita's side just to clean up that fight. Mopping the floor with Kansas State with an easy team fight victory off of that. Might not have been necessary, but you know, when you're at this position in the map, when you can hold it after the gate closes, a great time for Wichita to be very close up and get the kills. We even see Cloud picked up Professor Oak again, getting the best of that 1v1.
Cloud using a nice little side route on the map to catch Professor Oak off guard as he's leaving the spawn. And that's going to force Kansas State to have to wait even longer before they can get this push started up again. And even if they win this team fight, they're going to be running low on time by the time they hit the end of the second checkpoint.
Yeah, I think it's going to be up to Professor Oak and Fear Gut again. They got the tank ultimates. Oh, Jasonator's shield goes down very fast. Is he going to die by that Diva Bomb? Just barely survives. The Mii ultimate comes out onto absolutely nothing. Is Jasonator going to live for Shatter here? We'll have to see. The Lucio ultimate's out super early for Wichita. I think criminally early. The big Shatter gets 4 people. Is that going to result in a team fight victory? It's 2-1 for Kansas State, so it's looking like it could. Jasonator super low right now. It doesn't go down, actually. And yes, that's 4 kills for Kansas State. Cloud was not able to finish off the Reinhardt there. And the rest of Wichita could not respond because they used the Lucio ultimate too early. They cannot be burning that super early in these team fights. Alright.
Cloud's hunting. He can sniff that Widowmaker.
He's got those.
He smells blood. But
he's only got a couple seconds left. He's actually going on a different side entirely. Oak not really opting for the fight right now, but he's getting caught out by the enemy Diva. He's trying to go for a kill on Diana. Ben gets a kill. Oh, gets a big mid-click shot on Lucio. It's a 2-run right now in favor of Kansas State. Big E from Ben onto the enemy male. That's going to be really big for them to win this fight. They get the Diva out of mech as well. It's looking perfect for Kansas State. You couldn't have asked for anything better. The Mei is the only one on point. Oh, the Shatter comes out actually. It gets 2 people from Kansas State. I don't think it's going to be what Wichita wanted though, because Lucio gets slept and put to grave, and Kansas State are continuing their map run.
Alright, they have enough time for 1, maybe 2 pushes. They do have ultimates coming online though, and at the moment, Wichita Wolves don't really have anything except for the Diva ult coming up in about another 20%.
And man, it has been so back in this game. Just trying to catch my breath from all these constant fights. It's getting so nail-biting, man. Alright, Jasonator with the Shatter. This view with his Nano as well.
They'll probably try and hold the Shatter until they get to the bridge. I don't see the Wichita Wolves coming out any further than that. As I say that, they're starting to get aggressive.
Yeah, they are starting to get aggressive. While Cloud is looking for picks in his sight line, Jasonator goes down early, but Professor Oak's able to find Ana. This is really good for them. But Cloud has a perfect sight line because he has that Widowmaker ultimate. He sees everyone. And Birthday Ninja gets a kill on the Fear Gut. The main ultimate came out from Kansas State and is able to secure the 1 kill, but Cloud kills Professor Oak in the backline, and now he's able to free fire on the rest of the lineup. Kansas State do have 4 people on the point though. So it's looking good for them to be able to continually push it. And it looks like Cloud actually is repositioning himself. He doesn't see where the enemy Widowmaker is. So Oak might opt for the kill here. If he gets the kill on the Cloud, it could be disaster for Wichita. The Lucio
he misses the shot.
Kansas State. The Wichita, oh, the Shatter came out and it got 3 people on Kansas say, but Jasonator answering back, able to get a good kill. And Cloud actually did find Finger Gun.
Cloud?
That's 2 kills. Is he going to be able to
No
get
one can
more?
hide
They're
from
doing a
my
bunch of
sight.
damage to them, but it's actually just tanks on the point right now along the Lucio. The Jasonator got caught out here. J-Bomb needs to keep everyone alive here along with Bispy. Ben does have the ultimate as well. Oh, everyone's anti in the backline, and Ben gets a kill on Lucio. He can go for a bomb here. No one's able to speed them out. Is he going to do it? Yes, he is. They're going backwards, trying to get. It's a good bomb location.
Oh, but they were prepared.
The Reinhardt is so low too. He was anti-nated. He wasn't gonna die though. They get walled, and they able to get the Diva back out of it. It's overtime. Kansas City had to keep.
Oh, Professor Oak!
That's crucial. Are they able to get the rest of the kills though? The main is low on Wichita's side, and now Reinhardt gets nanoed. Fathom actually killed Professor Oak. I think he went combat loser on him. Now Wichita Ryan get nanoed. This is not looking good for Kansas State.
It comes down to the Mei and the Diva to stall onto the point and make sure that the rest of Kansas State can get back.
Don't have any resources. There's no ultimates. There's nothing left in the supply chain for Kansas State. It is all looking glam as it goes 0-2. Wichita takes the series, and they take my voice.
A crazy good series from the Wichita Wolves and Kansas State. Very close. The scoreline does not represent the story at all in this series.
Absolutely. You know, Kansas State played very, very well throughout this map. I think this is one of their better maps they played throughout today. Unfortunately, just inches away. Once again, I feel like I've said that a lot for a lot of their losses, just inches away from victory, which is very unfortunate because the scoreboard does not show the entire story of all these games.